Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for another fantastic lesson with our teacher, Bridget Rampton, especially that you guys could join us live. We appreciate it. Been looking forward to us all getting back together live in the classroom from all over the world. Jay Brown, Shauna, Ro, Chris, Maggie. I see other folks in here, perhaps still filling up their cup of tea or their glass of wine. I'll be here at the beginning of today's lesson. I'm going to have to hop out halfway through, so I'll leave it to Bridget to wrap up on her own, and I'll catch the rest in replay. I'm really happy to have the rare chance to go out on a date with my wife. My mother is visiting, which means the kids will be taken care of. It means we can escape. So I'll be here for the first half, but I'll keep an eye on the support desk. And then, as always, reach out if there's anything in the second half by email. But the lesson will be there for you in the lesson library as well. Hey, Jeanette. Gosh, all right. I think we're just about ready. You guys all know, don't leave tech support stuff in the chat as it will distract from learning. Just use the support widget in the bottom left corner of the page or reply to any emails, etc. that we send you. Hey, Verona. So glad. Had to set the alarm. Okay, good. We'll you can take your time, but we'll all wake up or wrap up our day together. Let's call our teacher on up to the stage. Let's maybe we can ask Bridget for recommendations. How does she wake up?
How do I wake up? A recommendation for how you wake up.
Well, yeah. How do you turn your brain on?
Is to get your husband to bring you a cup of coffee in bed.
That's a good husband.
That's a good husband. I hope you're one of those good husbands.
I do my best. But I'm going to make a little note of that. That's a good one.
Well, we've got a fun lesson today. It's our third bridge philosophy lesson. Right. And today, this is a topic that seems kind of basics, but I want to dig a little deeper and go into the philosophy about why you draw trumps or don't draw trumps in a trump contract.
Fantastic. Well, if it's anything like the last two, I think we're in for a workout.
Yep.
Also, just a chance to really sort of rethink why we do the things that we do. I know we're all looking forward to it, Bridget.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Sorry to interrupt you, Jed. I find it really, really interesting because I just watch beginners, intermediates all the time. And so often they do something because they've kind of been trained to do it, but haven't really understood the logic behind it. And drawing trumps is definitely one of those things.
Cannot wait. As I mentioned to everyone, I'll be cutting out halfway through. So I'll leave it to you to end the session for everyone.
Sure.
But any help in the first half, just sing up my name and I'll hop back in.
Okay, sounds good. Have a lovely day with your wife.
Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
See ya. Hi there, everyone. So really nice to see you all. Could you already see the slide? I was just noticing that comment about the war. Hold on, let's pop the slide on. So I've got this here. And the reason I popped that slide there is I like the idea of these people planning. And sometimes bridge can feel a tiny bit like war. You've really got to stop, think, make a plan. So that's why I popped that slide in so you can see that.
Bridget, sorry to interrupt real fast. Yeah. I just started the recording, so I just didn't want folks to miss out. I had forgotten to click that before.
Cool. So we're saying hi to our people who are watching this in replay now as well.
Yes, thank you everyone for joining us, and we hope you can be with us live next week if you're able. Turn it back over to you, Bridget. Sorry about that.
Okay, lovely. Well, hi everybody. We're going through the bridge philosophy of when to draw trumps and when not to draw trumps. And I've got this picture up that I discovered on the internet of there's Winston Churchill there. I don't know who the other three chaps are. If anyone knows, let me know. But they're making their plan. And in bridge, making your plan is just so important. When you're the declarer, the dummy comes down, you've got to make your plan. So trump contracts, absolute basics. Let's just wind it right back. So what are we trying to achieve when we're playing in a trump contract? This is very basic, right? We all know this. We're trying to make the contract, and hopefully we're trying to make it with over tricks as well. Any over tricks are good things. So by this stage in our bridge play, we all know that there are some techniques that are going to help us make our contract. And we also know that good defense are going to be sitting there and waiting to do their best and thinking of every opportunity they can to defeat our contract. So what we need to do is assess all our risks and think through all our options as well. So the dummy comes down. So hopefully all of you are doing this. As soon as the dummy comes down, you must sit back and count your winners and count your losers. Often I'm watching players and the dummy comes down and they call for a card from dummy immediately. And I just think, oh no, don't do that. Just stop, take a minute and really just give yourself time to go through and count all your winners and all your losers before you do anything else. What I find interesting about this is if you do spend this time at the very beginning to stop and do that and make that sort of mental process, often the play is quicker. So you do that thinking at the beginning and you've got it sort of locked into your brain what you're going to do. And often your declare a play will actually be a wee bit quicker and you can adopt and change your plan as you go through. Sounds so obvious, but people don't do it enough. And if you do this, you'll really notice an improvement in your declare a play. Okay, so now we're coming to the crunch of it. So you're in a trump contract, dummy goes down, and you either start drawing trumps or you don't. So you've probably all been told to basically draw trumps, and that's right. You do draw trumps immediately unless there's a good reason not to. And I've made up this statistic. I'm guessing that 30% of the time you draw trumps, but to me, that's an instinctive figure I've just made up. But it seems to me that often there really is a time when you don't draw trumps immediately, and it happens a lot. So I always think I must draw trumps unless there's a good reason not to. And there's often a really good reason not to. So these to me seem like the three main reasons not to. First one is the roughing in the shorthand business, which all of you are probably familiar with. Does everybody understand the concept of the shorthand, first of all? Because sometimes when I say rough in the shorthand, people say, oh, what's the shorthand? Are people comfortable with the concept of the shorthand thing, shorthand idea? Yeah, thanks, Judith. Yeah, it's basically the hand with fewer trumps in. So if you can use those trumps for roughing, you can often get yourself some extra tricks. Some other times, it might not be roughing in the shorthand that might get rid of your losers or create your winners. It might be that you need to sort of throw away a loser before you do anything else while you've got a chance. I always think of this as like tidying up my hand. It's like trying to get rid of the garbage first. This normally happens when you've counted your winners and you've counted your losers, and you realize that, say, you might be in 4 hearts or you might be in 4 spades. You can count 10 winners, but you also might be able to count 4 losers. So if you just start cashing out your winners there, you might find that they end up coming in and getting their winners, which are your losers, first. And if you need to sort those out, you should usually do that first if you've got a chance. Just get rid of the losers while you can. And we'll look at some examples of that. And the other situation that's very, very common as well is when you need to set up a side suit first before drawing your trumps. So it all comes back to, at the very beginning, dummy comes down, and you must ask yourself, how many winners do I have? How many losers do I have? And which strategy do I need to adopt? It's probably going to be one of those 3 strategies. This is my favorite point. So people, for some reason, often look really pleased with themselves when they've got a drawing the trumps and cashing their side winners sort of type hand, just the pulling out the trumps and then going for it. But actually, these sorts of hands are easy, and you're normally going to get a flat board on these sorts of hands. It's the hard hands, the sort of hands actually that we've just had a comment here. If you need trumps for some transportation, that's more of a hard hand, and often that's involved as well with setting up a side suit. those hands are the kind of hands that are going to give you extra tricks. So see slightly difficult hands as opportunity hands. Try not to feel intimidated by the hard hands. Try to embrace the hard hands and think, this is my opportunity to get a good board. A lot of people don't take time to stop and think. If you're taking time to stop and think and can identify that you're the one who's going to get those extra tricks, then you have got an opportunity to do better than everybody else and get a good board and bridge, which is what it's all about. So first one, the default position, drawing your trumps straight away and cashing your winners. So it's the default. You've counted all your winners. You know that you've got enough. And that's the sort of situation we just pull them out and claim the tricks. Be a little bit greedy though, having said that. So sometimes even if you can count all your winners, you might think, oh, actually, I might be able to get another one in, get an over trick in. So it's not a bad thing to be greedy. I've got a hand here. So quite fun just to go through the process here of counting all the winners and all the losers and talk about which strategy we should adopt here. So maybe people type in the box, like, how many winners do you think we've got here with this particular hand? There's a king of diamonds lead against 4 spades. We'll assume trumps are breaking normally, hopefully. Or at least not terribly. So Patty's saying she reckons we've got 8 winners. 8. Yeah, it looks like we've got 8 top winners. In terms of, so there's fast winners with the trumps. Fast winners with the trumps, we've got 3. We've got 2 hearts, 2 clubs, and a diamond. But slow winners with the spades, it feels like as long as they don't break terribly, as long as they're no worse than 3-1, we're going to get 5 spades here. So when I picked up this hand, it feels to me that if this hand is going to make, it's because the trumps are going to break in a not terribly unfriendly way. So I'm hoping to get 5 spade tricks, 2 heart tricks, 2 club tricks, and a diamond trick. So let's pop over to BBO. I think I've got this hand up here. Can everyone see the bridge base online? Hopefully that's come up on your screen. Cool. Okay, I'm not going to bother with actually all the bidding. Let's just pop 4 spades in. You can see the other hands too, but they're probably going to leave the king of diamonds here. Would there be any reason not to draw trumps with this hand? Is there any roughing in the shorthand opportunity, setting up a side suit opportunity, or throwing away a loser opportunity? Or would that just be a crazy thing to do? So people are saying yes or no, but unfortunately, I've asked 2 questions, so I'm not sure which one people are replying to. Should you draw trumps straight away is my question. Draw trumps, says Judith. I agree. I would absolutely draw trumps here. I would get in. I know I've got enough. And if I start working on the side suits first, all I would be doing is just risking somebody roughing in. So say I did play out the hearts first, you can see what's going to happen. It's completely fine. You're getting all those spade tricks. You're getting the 2 heart tricks, 2 club tricks, and you've got that diamond. But if you did start on one of the side suits, with this particular hand here, because it's fairly balanced on both sides, you'd be fine. But you are actually taking a completely unnecessary risk if you do play even the ace, king of hearts first. Because it could be that the opponents, one of them has 6 hearts, you might get a rough on the second trick, and it would be just completely unnecessary. The main focus here is just to pull the trumps out so the defenders have no chance of roughing in, and then just cashing your side winners. So those hands are nice hands, but like I said, they're not normally going to be the sort of hands that give you any extra tricks, because anyone can play that hand. Anyone can pull the trumps, cash the side winners, and make their tricks. So they're nice, but they're kind of like play the hand and move on to something a bit more challenging. So yep, we can count our 10 winners. No reason not to draw trumps and cash your side winners. If you delay it, the opponents, they might rough in. Okay, so now we're getting on to the more common situations where it's not all laid out for you. And creating extra tricks and getting rid of losers by ruffing in the shorthand is a very, very common situation. You see it a lot. So if you count your tricks and you're short a trick or two, or like I said, sometimes 3, then look first to see, are there any ways that you can ruff any losers in that shorthand? I'm sure some of you have made the mistake before of drawing 1 or 2 rounds of trumps first and you lose. It's like you lose the rhythm. It's like the opponents get in and they take away your opportunity. So it's often dangerous if you know that you need to get a ruff in. It's often dangerous to even draw 1 round of trumps if it's your strategy to do ruffing in the shorthand. So every trump that you draw takes away a potential ruffing opportunity. You have to be aware of that. Sometimes you can afford to take away a ruffing opportunity. You might not need very many, but sometimes you really, really can't. And you must get that ruffing going as soon as you can. So this hand here, let's go through the process again of counting our winners and losers. We can count slow winners as well. So when I say slow winners, I mean with the spade suit where you have to knock out the ace of spades first. So just off the top, how many winners do you think we've got and how many losers? We're in 3 spades. Any thoughts? 8 winners, yeah. So I think Chris is right. We've got the 4 spades. We've got a heart, 4, 5, once that king of hearts is gone. We've got 2 clubs and the ace of diamonds. So what would be the best way to approach this hand? What should we do with that after we've won that jack of clubs? We need another winner from somewhere. And where's that winner going to come from, by the way? The dummy. Yep, bit more specific, Judith. By ruffing what? Doing what? Yeah, hearts. We're going to be ruffing, hopefully, ruffing a heart in the dummy. So with this sort of hand, I'm going to pop you back to BBO and we'll run through it. Okay, there we go. I'm just going to pop in 3 spades directly. They lead the jack of clubs. I'm wondering, let's do it wrong first if we don't ruff in the dummy first, because that can be quite a good learning exercise. So say we don't ruff first and try and get those hearts going. Say we draw spades and we know you need a heart ruff. When you're declarer, you should win with the top of touching honours normally, not so important in trumps. So they will win the ace. And then what they'll do, if they're a good defender, they'll look at dummy and think, what's the power of the dummy here? And they might think, actually, I'm going to pull out a trump. So then they'll pull out one of your trumps and you can afford 1. But then the problem is when you come in here like this and play the hearts, a good defender is going to go boom like that and take that low light for the diamonds, and they're going to take that ruff off the table. And now you don't ever get a chance to create that extra trick. So not getting the ruff in straight away could be a disaster against a good defender here. So instead, and I'll just undo these. Sorry about all these yellow boxes popping up. Let's go back to the position where they've just played the jack of clubs. Okay, so here now, we've won the ace. What should we do now before we draw the trumps? Yep. Lead a low heart. So just get this heart suit going. You know they're going to probably attack the trumps. So good defender is going to go like this. Boom. Pull out your trump. And then they're going to play another. But you have now got timing on your side. So you're going to go up to this queen and We're going to get rid of that little loser, and there is nothing the defenders can do about it. So we took control, basically. We've got control, and we can get the timing right to ruff that loser and dummy. If you draw even one round of trumps there, it could just be a disaster, because a good defender will rip out your trumps and take control of the hand, and you will never be able to get that ruff in. Take you back to this one here, and that is just a quick summary of what we talked about and what we decided. So, yep, get straight away, set up the heart, ruff the heart, then pull the trumps. This is a fun hand, actually. Has anyone ever come across a book called The Art of Being Lucky, Card Play Technique? It's by these two famous bridge players. It's Victor Molo and Nico Gardner. It's such a good book. I've just got to wave it up to you if you ever fancy it. There we go. Card Play Technique. It was written in about 1955. And these two chaps have got such a lovely way with words and a way of writing. So many bridge books are a bit boring and dull, but they just have such a charming way of writing that I would definitely recommend it. So it's Card Play Technique, The Art of Being Lucky by Victor Molo and Nico Gardner, two famous old sort of English guys. Oh, your first bridge book, says Chris. Awesome. Hold on, let me just write it here so you can catch it. Art of Being Lucky by Victor. It was one of my first bridge books too. Like the first time I read it, I thought, oh my God, that's really, quite complicated and quite confusing. And then you sort of come back to it and think, right, getting it. Pearls of Wisdom. There we are. I'll just pop that in there. But anyway, I like this example. I was reading through it, and they said, look at this particular hand, the one I've got in front of you, and try and switch your brain around and play it in two different contracts and talk about the sort of strategy for each different contract. So the first contract with this hand, dummies up top, by the way, is if you were playing this contract in spades. Yeah, we'll be on Amazon. Yeah, I hope it's on Amazon. I hope it's still in print. So in this contract here, can everyone see this 3-spade contract I've got? I don't know how you get into 3 spades. I would personally blame your partner if you were in 3 spades on this. You shouldn't be in 3 spades. But say you are in 3 spades and they lead a club. What would be your strategy for playing the hand here? Does this feel like the sort of strategy where you're trying to set up a side suit first? Or does it feel like the sort of strategy where you would be pulling trumps? Or does it feel like a roughing of the short hand or throwing away a loser strategy? Playing a 5-1 split, not great. How many winners and losers, first of all? Let's go through the motions of the winners and losers. So how many winners are you hoping for in spades? This is going to be really the only way it works. This feels quite hard, this hand, actually. So Shana's saying side suit. So is Judith. 4. So yeah, it looks to me like you've probably got 4 winners in spades. So I would be thinking, once I have drawn out 3 rounds of spades, there'll be 1 spade left and it'll be higher than mine. So that would be this idea of leaving out the higher trump. So I'm thinking I've probably got 4 spades, 2 clubs, and I have hopefully got 3 diamonds as well. And in terms of losers, I'd be thinking I've got 1 spade loser, 1 heart loser, and 2 diamond losers. So it feels to me like we've probably got our tricks here. So in this situation, let's pop you over to BBO. You're in 3 spades, thanks to your partner. They lead a club. In this sort of situation, I would actually draw the trumps first and get on to the diamonds later. The problem of Judith just said, would you get to dummy with the King of Hearts? The problem is you haven't necessarily got an entry to the dummy. They could recognize that you've got a singleton. You might get across to the dummy, but I think instead I would probably just pull out this and just get going with the spades, hoping I'm getting a nice split here. 2, counting. There goes the third one. So now you're in this position now where you've got one trump out there and you leave it. So then you can start working on these. They're going to win it. They're probably not going to play back their trump because they're always just going to get it. They might switch to a heart. Could play a club, say. And then you take out this last diamond. So it looked a bit harder, but it is actually the sort of hand where you can count your winners and you know you can get the timing right to just pull the trumps and cash your trick. So here they're going to take their jack of spades, obviously, whenever they do. And then after that, well, you can even throw a diamond. They're just going to get their spade trick and then you're going to be fine and you make your 3 spades. But compare that with trying to just adjust your brain completely. And now imagine you're playing this exact same hand in 4 diamonds. Yeah, so Chris, there's big danger that they will ruff. Yeah, so you want to basically draw the trumps and then get into those diamonds. You don't want them ruffing in. So now try and rethink it. Now we're imagining we're playing this exact same hand, but in 4 diamonds. Again, blame your partner if you like. So this time, winners and losers. How many winners? How many losers? So in terms of losers, we've definitely got the ace and king of diamonds, and we've got a heart loser as well. And we've also got a spade loser. Hoping the spades are going to break in a not too unfriendly fashion again. 4-3, but we're going to end up with a spade loser at the end unless we do something about it. So what can you do about it with this hand? What would be your strategy after you've taken ownership with that club and grabbed it? Thoughts? Draw trumps or try and get a rough low spade, says Chris. Yeah, that's exactly right. So in this sort of hand, let me pull it up again. Exact same hand. Ah, annoying. Sorry, it's gone. Let me take you back to here. So it's the exact same hand here. Oh, let's pop you there. I can't bring it up on Bridge Base, sorry. It's jumped forward, but it is the same hand. But what you need to do here, I think I've written on the next slide, actually. So because you're short a trick, when you would win the club, you have to just rough a spade early and just get that last spade out of the way. And then once you've roughed that spade, then you can go about drawing the trumps. Then you're going to play out the spades. And if they split 4-3, then you're going to find that you've got rid of your spade loser and you're going to make your contract. So quite a different strategy with the exact same hand, which I find a sort of really interesting idea. Okay, getting rid of losers first. I actually love this. For some reason, this really appeals to me. I really like it when I can get rid of a loser in my hand here. So this contract, we are going to be in 4 spades. I'd like people, please, to go through this process of winners and losers. So how many winners, how many losers have we got? Got a couple of people writing in. Yeah, 10 winners, 4 losers. Is everybody comfortable with that? Chris is super quick. This is one of these cases where you do have enough winners, but you've also got too many losers. And when you've got that imbalance, you've got to do something about it. It can be really risky to draw trumps. The thing that would be jumping out of me here as well is I'm missing the ace of spades. So the opponents are going to get control at some stage. So any thoughts on how you might play this hand? What would you do after you won the ace of hearts? These situations you start recognizing more and more. They start jumping out at you. At first, though, you've really got to look for them. So lose a spade early. So what happens if you lose a spade? So say you play on spades, they're going to take the ace, aren't they, of spades, and then they're probably going to switch to hearts. So then you'll lose the spade, and they'll take their 2 hearts, and then they're going to also get their ace of diamonds. So a good defender is going to take their tricks. They're going to take their 4 winners there, which are your 4 losers. So we can't do that. We can't play on the spades first. There's something clever we have to do to tidy up the hand to get rid of that pesky loser if we can. Sometimes you can't get rid of pesky losers, but sometimes you can. Can anyone see the way? Okay, Chris has come up with a good suggestion. What do people think about it? Chris is saying play clubs. Clubs, shorter, yeah. Cool, let's do it, let's do it. Let's hop over to bridge base. So we've got 15. I think if we were playing this in 5-card majors, standard American or 2/1, we might not even get to 4 spades actually, but let's bid it Eckel for this one. So 1 spade, 9. Not good enough to make a take-out double with the east hand. Then there would be 2 club bid by south here if you're playing Eckel. Pass. Then there would be a 2 no trump bid by north. I played 2 no trumps here is now just saying that we're a balanced hand, one of those big balanced hands, 15 through to 19 points. I like leaving the space open, putting in a game force because you know that south has got 10 points and north now can put 2 no trumps, so a big balanced hand. It means you can leave that 3 level bid free for giving more information. And this information south would really want to give north is that she's got 3 spades. So she'd bid 3 spades and then you get to 4 spades. And the lead is King of Hearts. So we're taking it with the ace. We're making our plan. We know we've got too many losers. So we're not going to draw on the trumps because if we draw on the trumps, you can see West would win the ace of spades and then quickly play those 2 hearts. And then they also get their ace of diamonds and the contract is down. So we've got to be super clever, hold our breath, hope they don't roughen, but it's our only chance. So play up to clubs as long as they're not breaking worse than 4-3. Then we come across. And then the magic bit, you play the club and poof, it's gone forever. You've got rid of that loser. And now you're kind of safe. So when you draw the trumps, even if they jump up here with the ace, they're powerless. They play their club. And don't forget that the north hand is the one that is they can't see. You'd rough it. And you're away. Then you draw 2 rounds of trumps. And now you're done and dusted. You just need to get rid of that ace. Anything now they return, you can win. And you've got those 2 diamonds. Contract made. So you just have to look for those situations. And as I said, they become more and more obvious the more you play. So if your winners and your losers are out of balance, then look for a way to try and get rid of that loser. And often it will be when you've got a suit that has lots of high cards in, but not a lot of length in. So it could be safe to play on that suit and chuck away a loser carefully before the defense comes in. And it's all about the club suit here. There goes the explanation. You must win the ace of hearts, throw away a heart loser on your clubs before you're drawing the trumps. I think we're getting a question coming in from Maggie. We'll bring out the next slide while she's typing. Got two questions. Right, while we're doing that, we'll look at this hand here. The setting up the side suit first hand. We've ended up in 4 hearts. So winners and losers. How many winners, how many losers? Four losers. So it feels like we've got 2 spade losers and 3 diamond losers. And winners, we've got 5, 6, and 3 club winners. Quick question. What's the statistics about the clubs breaking 3-3? So say you played the queen of clubs, went across to the ace and king. How likely do you think it will be that the clubs break 3-3? Not as good as 4-2. Yeah, Chris is right. Oh, wow. Oh, God, coming up with some fantastic statistics. 34, 36. Yeah, it's one of those. Actually, let me just check exactly what it is. Hold on. It is... missing 6. 3-3, 35.5%. Whereas if it breaks 4-2, it is 48%, I think. So the chances of it breaking 3-3 are not that likely. So if you did just win the ace of spades, ace of diamonds here, and draw your hearts out, and then play on the club suit, it would work if the clubs break 3-3, because you would then be able to throw away 2 diamond losers on the length and the clubs. But it's more likely, as Chris said, that they're going to not break 3-3. It's more likely they're going to break 4-2. And in this situation, you can actually cope with this hand, regardless of whether they do break 3-3 or 4-2. So the chances of them breaking 3-3 or 4-2 are really quite high. So how would you deal with this hand? Would you draw the trumps or would you not draw the trumps? And actually, I think we had a comment, a clue from Shana earlier on, right at the beginning, which was kind of an interesting idea and the right idea. Let me put this on a redeal. Not draw trumps, maybe we can over ruff. Yeah, you'd have to be a bit lucky, I think, with the diamond suit. It feels like they're going to come in on that one. So Chris is saying we need to ruff a club. So this is clever. This. Oh, I might have a coffee coming in. Hold on. Maybe not. Oh, no, not. I thought I was going to get one of a coffee delivery, but afraid not. Okay, so let's bid first. 8, but 8, 19, 11, 12, 13, 14. Oh, I have got a coffee coming in. My manservant, thank you. Cheers, thank you very much. All right, so let's go back. 8, 19, 11, 12. I know, I've got a well trained, haven't I? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So let's bid this out. How would you open with the south hand? Applause. Yeah, no, I'll give him a gold star later. We're going to open a heart. Okay, west, thoughts on the west hand? Any thoughts? Ah, sorry, haven't got the screen on. Apologies. Let's go through. Okay, so we're there. We've got the heart. And now we need to, can you see now, everybody? Just give me a quick thumbs up, someone, if you can see the screen. I think you can. Cool. Thank you. So we've opened a heart with the south hand. I got distracted by my coffee delivery. What would you do with the west hand? Pass. Yeah, it was kind of a trick question, I guess. I don't want you to get involved with that west hand. So it's somehow annoying when you pick up a balanced sort of hand with, you know, a 12 count and the opponent's open, because you feel like instinctively you sort of want to get involved, and people often get attempted to get involved when they shouldn't do. And you shouldn't double here. You can't double when you've got 3 cards in the opponent's suit. So this is a sort of hand that I think of, you know, I get away from my frustration of not being able to bid by telling myself this is a good defensive hand here. This is going to have work to do in defense. So don't get too cross that you can't get involved. Getting involved here is really dangerous with these hands. You just pass here, and you can't, you try not to, you know, really avoid the temptation of overcalling with a 4 card suit. It can be just a disaster. So you pass 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And regardless of which, if you're playing standard American, as long as you're not playing Turbo 1, or if you're playing Ecole here, you're going to be bidding 2 clubs. If you played Turbo 1, it would be a bit different, but you would bid 2 clubs here. You're too good just to bid 2 hearts if you're playing 4 card majors. And if you're playing 5 card majors, you might do something different. But then they're going to come in and show their diamonds. But the point is you are actually going to get to 4 hearts on this contract. So then you would bid hearts and you would raise it again. So again, that depends on your system, but the point is we are getting to 4 hearts here with this contract. And they lead the diamond. Okay, so these hands are quite complicated, but they're really fun to play out again. So it's even a good idea with these sorts of hands. You take this hand or get some hands from a book on setting up a side suit and just lay them out and get a feel for them, get a feel for trying to establish the side suit and how you can use your trumps. So you've won the ace. What is the first thing you can do? You can't count on the clubs being 3-3. They might be, and you can see here they're not, right? But you can't count on the clubs being 3-3. What should be the first thing you play here? First card, you've won the ace of diamonds. We know we need to do something with this club suit. So ace of hearts is going to cause a problem. If you play out the hearts, you might end up with a problem with communication with your hearts. Whereas if you come in with the clubs, we're going to do this. And again, you're holding your breath slightly. There's a risk of being rough, but this is the better play. As long as they don't break worse than 4-2. Come up like this. Now, key here, don't play out the king of clubs. Yeah, we need to use our trumps as entries, as Chris has said, and I think Shana's coming there as well. We don't play out the king of clubs. They might rough it, and it's going to be there later for a trick. So we instead rough a club here. Key, rough high, because it's very likely that the clubs are going to be 4-2. Get my fingers right, 4-2. So you rough high, and you can see that's exactly the right strategy here, because now West can't come in and over rough, which they would do, and it's likely to be a 4-2 split, and if it is, they're going to over rough. So this keeps it safe, for a 3-3 split and also for a 4-2 split. So they'll throw away, if they play low like, they'll throw away a diamond. So now we need to really think about access to that dummy. You've got 2 jobs to do. You need to draw the trumps out, and you also need to get across to dummy so that you can make use of those clubs. So you start here. And then away we go. And here comes the beautiful bit. This one takes care of their 4th club. You start chucking away your losers. And that beautiful little club that we've set up. Throw away another loser. And then we can concede these. Who cares? And you've got your trick, your 10 tricks. So setting up the side suit is the one I find that people need a little bit more practice first. Yeah, sometimes you can play a little bit of the hearts first and you're safe, but sometimes you can't. Here you're going to be okay because you've got that nice big tasty heart as a ruff. So win the ace with the king, assume clubs are a 4-2 break, play the queen, up, ruff high, and then come across and enjoy the rest of the trumps. So yeah, hard hands are good hands. We love these hard hands. As soon as you get a hard hand, it's going to be a potential for you to do well. So you'll find if you play a hand like that at the club, you'll find that a lot of people won't be playing it as well as you. They'll come across the 4-2 club split and they'll go down. And Yashana said it's worthwhile learning the odds of suit breaks. Yeah, it kind of is. Just, I think the way to think about it is as if you know that there's an even break. Sorry, if you've got an even number of cards, you assume that it's going to be an even break. And if you've got an odd number of cards, you assume it's going to be an odd break. It's more likely. But it's very easy to sort of Google those things and look at the statistics of the breaks. It's good to learn about the 3-3s, the 4-2s, the 4-3s. And if you become familiar with those and just assume that they're not going to break 3-3, it's just a good thing to remember. It's less likely that they're going to break 3-3. Let's try another hand. Oh, why did that jump through for me? That's annoying. Okay, this is a nice one. What would you open with the south hand? Opening a heart. Yep, it's a big balanced hand. It's some people might even push and open 2 no trumps with it because it's a 19 count that's almost worth a 20 count. You've got that lovely heart suit, but technically you should open a heart here. West. Not a lot West can say. They're going to pass. What about the north hand? Two hearts, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 2 hearts seems completely normal. Pass by east. Okay, thoughts about what you do with the south hand? There's no splinter opportunities. I know some of you at the chat at the beginning were talking about splintering, which are great bids. 4 hearts, yeah. So the fact that you do just bid 4 hearts here will normally mean actually that for those who do play splinters and understand about splinters, it will normally mean that you don't have a shortage. It's just saying, look, I've got a huge hand, sort of a 19 count, possibly a very good 18. I've got a huge hand, happy to play in 4 hearts. And the fact that I haven't tried to show you that I've got some sort of shortage first implies that it's normally a big hand that's balanced or semi-balanced. So you've got 4 hearts here. This sort of hand, what would you think about leading with the West hand? Jack of spades to me feels very normal here. I love top of a sequence headed by an honor. So leading the Jack. Okay, count winners and losers. So how many winners? Heart suit, spade suit, diamond suit, and club suit. So we can count slow winners as well. So assuming that we've lost the ace and king of hearts and that we've lost the ace of diamonds, how many winners have we got? Feels like 10. Yep. So 3 hearts, 2 spades, 2 diamonds, and 3 clubs. Okay, what about losers? Turning your brain round and counting the losers. We've only got 5 quick winners. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quick winners, but slow. If you count our slow winners as well, I think we've got 10. Yeah, so we've got 4 losers. So we're in that situation where our winners and our losers are not aligned. So we need to do something about it. We need to get rid of a loser. So if we draw the trumps, are we going to be able to get rid of a loser potentially? And how can we get rid of a loser? How should we do it? There has to be, look for a short suit where they're unlikely to rough in, where you've got top cards, where you might be able to throw away a loser. Yep, the diamond suit is the magic suit here. Well done, everyone. We're looking at this diamond suit, thinking this suit can give us a bit of potential. So let's try. Take that with the ace, try and win it with the highest one, because it's harder for West then to work out where the king is or the queen. So take it with the ace, and also East. Yeah, they grab it with the ace, grab it with the higher one. So immediately start with this. They're going to cover an honor with an honor. And then they might actually attack the spades again here. They might try and create a vulnerability in the spades. So they're going to carry on the top of the sequence. And so now your spade suit, that loser in your spade suit is very, very exposed. But you've done the right thing because you've set up that diamond suit. Now you've got control early. So you do this. Next card, you're holding your breath a bit. You're hoping there's not a terrible diamond split. What are you going to throw away? Yep, let's get rid of that pesky little spade. Okay, so you've done that work. You've got rid of the loser. So now you're down to an even number. So you've got your 10 winners now, and now you've only got your 3 losers. So the world is in equilibrium, and the world is in a good place. So next step, do what? You've got rid of the loser. Draw those trumps out. We've got them. They're a bit stuck about what to play back. They might just make you rough, and your long hand doesn't give away anything. Okay, draw a trump again. And now they've got to play back a club. And there's no more trumps out there, so you sit there and you enjoy those lovely clubs. And then you've got your contract. Okay, so that's a lovely, lovely example of tidying up your hand and getting rid of the loser and making sure that you make your contract. So popping back to this, go back to our bridge philosophy. Probably a faster way to do this, but let's just take you back to start drawing trumps or not. So today, basically, we've gone through that philosophy, the idea that you basically draw trumps unless there's a good reason not to. If there's no good reason not to draw trumps, then do just draw your trumps, because last thing you want is for the opponents to come sideways in, using their small trumps to roughen and take your tricks away from you. So if there's not a good reason not to draw trumps, make sure you draw those trumps out. Don't even bother testing the side suits unless you're being greedy for an over trick. So draw the trumps and cash your side winners. But if you've done your reckoning at the beginning, you've counted your winners and you've counted your losers, and there's a problem, then stop and think. And it's usually going to fall into one of these three categories. It's going to fall into the roughing in the shorthand category, or the using your winners in a side suit like the one we just played to throw away a loser category, or the setting up a side suit category. Well, normally one of those three categories are the way that you're making your contract. And if you can see those, work those out, and adopt one of those approaches, you're going to be making your extra tricks or making your contract when other people aren't making their contract. So you're going to find yourself doing well with your declarer play. So has anyone got any questions about anything there? Just going through that mental exercise at the beginning of counting your winners and losers is fundamental. Is there an easy way to count winners, says Linda? I start by doing my absolute winners, like the ones that are just there for sure. So the aces and kings, the ones that are 100% winners. And then I move on to my slow winners. So I imagine what happens when I knock out the high card, and then I count those. It is so fundamental to count winners and losers. So it's amazing how many people don't do it. And if you do count your winners and losers at the beginning, it just gets your brain in the right space. It gets your head in the right mindset. And then you'll be able to follow your plan through better. There's nothing worse than starting to play a hand in bridge and then sort of lose the feel for what you're doing. And you haven't got a plan. You feel a little bit in the dark. But if you've started at the very beginning, you've focused on what job you've got and you've focused on what you need to do, you'll find it much easier to play the hand. And sometimes you won't be able to get rid of a loser. Sometimes it's not possible to get rid of your losers, but at least you've worked out your best opportunity and your best chance of making it. And Verona says, practice. Yes, practice everything. Practice, practice, practice. And these hands are all on the slide, so you can grab the slide. You can pull these hands out again and just feel the cards. Like, get the cards out, put them out, and just feel them and go through the motions. Losers on losers is another fantastic one. I love losers on loser play too. That's great fun. There's definitely lots of other things. And as you know, there's books and books and books written on bridge declarer play. These are the three most ones we came up with today, the three most common strategies for trying to make your contract. Look, anyway, it was lovely to see everybody. Don't forget, you can just fire questions. If you've got any questions, feel free to post them on the site and I can have a look at them. And yeah, good luck with your practicing this week and see you later. Love the lesson as always as well, Judith. See you later, everyone. Bye.